welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to take a scalpel, really, something that seems almost deceptively simple, talking about your daily routine.
Right. Seems basic.
Exactly. But we're not here just to learn the basics ourselves. Our mission today is more about dissecting a specific language lesson plan. We want to extract those fundamental building blocks, the essential verbs, the grammar rules, the structure that really act as a kind of shortcut to mastering this one particular skill.
And it's a perfect example, really. A great case study in linguistic efficiency. Think about it. Describing a routine means juggling event sequences, time markers, and the right grammar for habits. It's actually quite complex under the surface. And this lesson plan we looked at, it's a fantastic example of what you might call a cognitive hack. It isolates those challenges. Sequence, time, grammar, and gives you a way to tackle them quickly and, importantly, repeatably.
Okay, so let's start where the lesson starts with the narrative. The source uses a short conversation, right, between two people, Ravi and Neha. That's the blueprint.
Yes, and that conversation itself is instructive right away. It sets up this question and answer dynamic. Ravi isn't just asking, what do you do all day?
No, he's specific.
Exactly. He asks when she does things. That forces Neha to link the action directly to a time. It's about connecting activity and chronology from the get-go.
Right. Okay, let's walk through Neha's day as she describes it. She tells Ravi she wakes up at 7 o'clock. That's the starting point.
And 7 is a good choice, isn't it? It's relatable, not super early, not too late. It's a clear, round number. Easy anchor for the learner.
Then she lays out the morning stuff. Brushing teeth, taking a bath, eating breakfast, all that prep phase before the next big marker.
Which is college at 9 a.m. sharp.
Yeah.
And notice how universal those morning actions are. Brushing teeth, breakfast, everyone does versions of these. So the vocabulary isn't obscure. It lets the learner focus on the order and the timing without getting bogged down in, difficult words.
Good point. Then the conversation jumps ahead a bit. Neha says she comes home around 4 p.m. And the evening's pretty standard, too. Studying, watching some TV, and then finally, sleep at 10 p.m.
So if you look at how that dialogue flows, it's very effective. Start time, then the prep actions, the main activity transition, the return, the wind down, and the end time. Those specific times, 7 o'clock, 9 a.m., 4 p.m., 10 p.m., they create these clear anchor points.
Like chapters in the day.
Precisely. It teaches the brain that a routine isn't just a list of things, it's a structured timeline. Very neat.
Okay, structure established. Now let's get to the engine driving it, the grammar. The source material is pretty direct about this, isn't it? For daily habits, it says, use the simple present tense, period.
And that's the genius of the shortcut. Why complicate things with past tense or present continuous right now? The simple present is the tool for regular habitual actions. The whole point of this lesson isn't telling a one-off story. It's about establishing the pattern of a typical day.
Right. But isn't that simple third person's like, he wakes up versus I wake up? Isn't that often a big hurdle for learners? How does this lesson handle that?
Well, it handles it cleverly. It basically defers it. The lesson is structured around describing your routine, the first person, I. Look at the rule they provide. It explicitly shows that for I, the verb stays in its base form. I wake up, I eat breakfast. So by making the first task all about the learner's own life, it just removes the need to worry about adding as or as right at the beginning.
So it's a strategic choice. Reduce the cognitive load, basically. Let you focus on matching the action word to a without thinking about those tricky endings yet.
Exactly right. You master, say, 90% of the tasks, the structure, the verbs, the timing, before introducing what is often the most common grammatical sticking point. And the source reinforces this with those simple phrases. I go to work, I study English. Direct, clear, focused on habit without the extra layer of complexity.
That flows perfectly into the next piece, the vocabulary, the raw materials. The source provides a very curated list of verbs, doesn't it? A toolkit.
It's remarkably efficient. It's not a dictionary dump. It's precisely the set of verbs you need to build a coherent sort of 24-hour cycle. Master these 9 words, and you can basically outline your entire day.
Okay, let's list them because these are key. We've got wake up, brush, eat, go, come, study, sleep, read, and cook.
Right. Now, pause here. Think about the design. What's not on the list? You don't see shower, get dressed, commute, things people definitely do.
Yeah, that's interesting. Why leave those out? But include, say, read and cook?
Well, read and cook represent potentially significant blocks of evening time that aren't just studying or TV. They offer flexibility in describing evening activities. Things like shower or get dressed often get bundled into that initial I wake up and get ready phase in simple descriptions.
Okay, makes sense.
So the list seems to prioritize verbs that mark distinct shifts in major activity blocks. Morning prep, going out, coming back, evening activities. It's a really high-yield selection. Very efficient.
It all circles back to efficiency, doesn't it? Efficient grammar.
Yeah.
Simple present for I. Efficient vocabulary, those 9 key verbs.
Yeah.
So how does the lesson force you to put it all together? That's the practice time section with that very rigid template.
Yes. That 5-sentence model is the ultimate expression of this cognitive hack approach. It forces you, the learner, to apply the grammar and the time markers in a very clear, sequenced way. There's no ambiguity. It almost guarantees success by limiting the number of things you need to juggle at once.
Let's lay out those 5 slots. This is the structure they want you to internalize.
Okay, sentence 1. Always the start. Time and action. I wake up at 2. Compulsory time slot.
Sentence 2 usually tackles that first necessity, like getting energy. I eat breakfast at due. Again, you have to put in a time.
Sentence 3 is the major activity, the going out part. I go to at S. This one's actually the most complex, linguistically. Needs a place and another time.
Then sentence 4 marks the return, coming back to your own space. I come home, it's bed.
And sentence 5 closes the loop, the end of the cycle for the day. I sleep at S.
So, looking at that, 4 out of the 5 sentences demand a specific time. Why hammer the clock time so hard in the template?
Because sequencing and timing are the core skills here. If you can correctly use at 7 a.m. and at 4 p.m., you've shown you understand the relationship between when and what, which is, well, the whole point of describing a routine, isn't it? The 5-sentence structure drills that connection by rote. It forces you to place events on the timeline.
And the source gives a concrete example of how this works.
Yeah.
A sort of perfect routine using this template might sound like, I wake up at 6 a.m., I eat breakfast at 8, I go to work at 9, I come home at 6, I sleep at 10.
Exactly. And look how clean that is. Concise, unambiguous. Uses only the simple verbs we talked about. It's just a clear 5-point timeline. Requires minimal creative effort from the learner, but demands maximum grammatical accuracy within the lesson's rules. It's beautifully engineered, actually.
This really has been a fascinating deep dive into how language learning can be engineered. We didn't just skim a lesson. We've really unpacked why specific choices were made. That restricted vocabulary, the focus on just one bit of grammar, that rigid 5-sentence structure, it all serves to provide a genuine shortcut for this one specific skill.
Absolutely. So now you, the listener, have seen the common verbs, you understand the power of simple present for habits, and you have this structured 5-sentence approach. You've essentially got the keys to talk about your own time and daily activities with more confidence.
Which brings us right to the next logical step in the source materials path. As we wrap up, it's interesting that the lesson immediately pivots. After mastering your routine, it sets up lesson 3, talking about family.
Yes. And that pivot is brilliant, pedagogically speaking, because it forces the learner to confront the very grammar rule they were allowed to ignore in the first lesson. You've just spent all this time mastering I wake up, I go to work, using that base verb form.
Okay, so here's the final thought for you to chew on, building on that. If describing your routine relies so heavily on the simple present with the base verb, I wake up, what's the fundamental grammatical challenge? The specific adjustment you absolutely have to make the moment you switch, the moment you try to describe the routine of, say, your parent, your partner, or your sibling.
Yeah, that shift demands you suddenly pay close attention to that conjugation rule, the one that was only hinted at before. It's the difference between easily saying I cook and correctly figuring out how to say what he or she does every single evening. That little C's makes all the difference.
Something to think about how that foundation expands when you start talking about others. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.